News at 5 in association with Accoland Amusement Park, Annapurna Foods, Junior Holics, and Biz Farm Biscuits.
Tragedy in Ladakh, at least 7 army soldiers dead, 19 injured in accident at Turtuk sector. Activist Mark Haukip arrested for objectionable social media post brought to Imphal. Family members upset over Chief Minister N. Biren Singh's alleged questioning of Haukip's nationality. Illegal coal transportation row hits headlines again in Meghalaya. Congress demands independent probe, accuses government. Conglomeration of 48 Tripura outfits which returned to mainstream demand rehabilitation serve ultimatum to centre, say may be forced to take alternate steps. And as Sikkim Chief Minister P.S. Tamang pledged to make governance more people-friendly as SKM government completes 3 years in office, Tamang slams allegation of violence. Hello and welcome to Northeast Live. I am Pooja and we begin the bulletin with a big national story at this hour. At least 7 Indian Army soldiers were killed and several others were injured after the vehicle they were travelling in skidded off the road and fell in Shyok River in Turtuk sector of Ladakh. The vehicle fell to a depth of around 50 to 60 feet. And as per sources within the army, a party of 26 soldiers was moving from the transit camp in Partapur to forward locations in subsector Hanif. The vehicle skidded off the road and fell in the Shyok River, resulting in injuries to all occupants. All 26 soldiers were evacuated to an army field hospital and surgical teams from Leh were rushed to Partapur. Well, 7 soldiers succumbed to injuries later. Meanwhile, 19 soldiers are currently undergoing treatment in the hospital. As per inputs, requisition has been made for air effort from the Air Force to shift the more serious casualties to Western Command. So big national story at this point in time, viewers. At least 7 Indian Army soldiers were killed and several others were injured after the vehicle they were traveling in skidded off the road and fell in Shyok River in a Turtuk sector of Ladakh. The vehicle fell to a depth of around 50 to 60 feet. And as per sources within the army, a party of 26 soldiers was moving from the transit camp in Partapur to a forward location in sub-sector Hanif. The vehicle skidded off the road and fell in the Shyok River, resulting in injuries to all occupants. All 26 soldiers were evacuated to an army field hospital and the surgical teams from Leh were rushed to Partapur. 7 soldiers succumbed to injuries later. Meanwhile, 19 soldiers are currently undergoing treatment. As per inputs, a requisition has been made for air effort from the Air Force to shift the more serious casualties to Western Command. And shifting focus to Manipur now, well, activist of a Myanmar-based rights body, Mark Haukip, who was arrested from Delhi for alleged objectionable post on social media, was brought to Imphal today. But soon after landing at the Imphal airport, Haukip was taken to the Imphal West police station. Well, Haukip was arrested by a joint team of Manipur and Delhi police on May 24th. As per inputs, Haukip will be produced in court and the Manipur police will seek at least 5 to 6 days custody of the activist. Well, Haukip had yesterday tendered an unconditional apology for putting up quote unquote, mistakenly defaming the good image of a freedom fighter, Rani Gaidanliu, in a social media post in November 2021. Well, Haukip said that the post was put up unintentionally and that he did not expect it to provoke serious consequences and hurt the sentiments of the people. It may be mentioned here that Churachandpur district on Wednesday witnessed violent protest demanding release of activist Mark Thangamang Haukip. Well, Haukip, who is also the president of Manipur chapter of an organization called the International Human Rights Association, was arrested by a joint team of Manipur and Delhi police for allegedly inciting hate between communities through social media posts. It was only yesterday when Chief Minister N. Biren Singh questioned the acts of activist Mark Haukip, who works for a Myanmar-based rights organization. But Chief Minister N. Biren Singh termed Haukip's action as a deliberate attempt to disturb peace. Chief Minister N. Biren Singh had made it clear that law will take its own course. He further said that being a so-called rights activist doesn't give an individual the freedom to post anything and everything on social media. Meanwhile, we have reactions coming in from Haukip's family members. The family members are upset over Chief Minister N. Biren Singh's alleged questioning of Mark Haukip's Indian credentials. Well, the family members said that working for a Myanmarese organization doesn't make anyone a foreigner. They also appealed the state government to forgive Haukip. Now, let's listen in first to what Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh had said about Haukip.
Yeah. Human right. He is from Myanmar. Clearly seen in his address in the Facebook and the WhatsApp and everywhere in the, even in the the Twitter. You see here, President International Human Rights Association in charge of Myanmar. You see. I'm not telling lies. In charge of Myanmar. How he can interfere in the internal matter of the Manipur, internal matter of the India? The question is how he entered, how he was staying in the India. This is also a question because I have to save the nation. I have to save the state. I cannot succumb to pressure by someone who are trying to grab our land.
And while Haukip's father, Lim Khose Haukip, while regretting the chief minister's statement, said that they come from a family of freedom fighters.
Chief Minister Government of Manipur, क्यों आप मेरा बच्चा मेरा नाम लिमसे हो कि फिर पंगथंग थांगमांग का बाबा है बच्चा तो कहाँ से कैसा म्यांमारी बोल रहा है कौन ने बोला कौन से मिला बताइए आप कहाँ मिला है ये दुश्मन की बात है मणिपुर का इंटीग्रिटी की बात नहीं है दूसरा में तो पहला हम बाबा भी सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर में आए नहीं है ना अरे इंडिया का बच्चा है एंग्लो मणिपुरी वार में तो हम अभी तक सरकार का काम भी नहीं कर प्रजा का सेवा भी नहीं करता काम करके खा गई ये है ये खराब है अच्छा काम नहीं महाभारत भी जानता है पढ़ सकता है इंडिया का बच्चा इंडिया का भाषा हिंदू कहाँ से आया मिल सकता है बुद्धिस्ट कहाँ से बुद्धिस्ट किसका है कौन का है मिल सकता है इस्लामिक कर सकता है म्यांमार का आदमी का क्या प्रमाण दिया मत बोलो.
And well, Haukip's brother also reacted to the chief minister's statement and gave a detailed account of the family's background.
We are originated from this place only. I mean, before coming to Churachandpur, we settled in Chandel district, Chandel district. To be particular, we stayed in Tolin Phuilin village near so this Salung Pham, Kairo, Karim Bikho, Wangjing like that, na? People know us. Mak Thangmang Hauki was born on, if I'm not mistaken, 13th of March 1985 in Tolin Phuilin village. Tolin Phuilin. We used to say T. Phuilin village, na? Tolin Phuilin village. Yeah, it's a Chandel. And even before the coming of the Britishers, we were already there. To put an example, in the book written by W.C. Dunn, ICS, and English officer, the Gazetteer of Manipur, 1812, my great-great-grandfather's name was there. He wrote like that, Ondo, Mr. Ondo from Nungtak village. Nungtak, in our tongue, Nungtak is called Morpi village, no? Morpi. We were there. My great-grandfather lived during that time in Morpi village. And then the English officer wrote like this, Ondo is an efficient administrator.
And he also requested the state government to forgive Haukip.
As far as this social media, let me say Facebook or either Facebook or Twitter or WhatsApp, so many people from the state, including people from the valley, they post about so many things which are very detrimental to the society at large, like so many communal posts, so many things very sensitive posts, let me say. But then out of so many hate speech and communal posts, why they are very selective on this Mark Thamahawk? Why he has been singled out? I think this is very discriminatory. To err is human and to forgive is divine. The saying goes. So actually, he has his own family with his wife and his small kids. So taking into account all these issues, humanitarian issues, let me say, suppose the bread earner has been taken away from them, and then who is going to look after his wife and children? They are staying in Delhi on a rented room, and then the hardships they are to face, I can't imagine. So why don't I would like to ask, I would like to request, I would like to pray to the CM, the Honorable CM, Mr. Biren Singh, to have leniency.
With that, we take a short break. Stay tuned for more news.
Evening Prime, the primetime news at 7. Now, in a whole new look. Only on Northeast Live. Your station, your voice.
Oh. বাহ অপূর্ব ভ্যারাইটি অপূর্ব মূল্য ডাউনলোড মিশো
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage. Evening Prime, the primetime news at 7. Now, in a whole new look. Only on Northeast Live. Your station, your voice.
कांग्रेस सरकार कुछ नहीं कर पाया.
all the best
We, the people of the Northeast, can also contest it.
पूर्वोत्तर
While Welcome back and on to a big story from Meghalaya now, with the row over illegal transportation of coal has hit the headlines again, with the Congress demanding a CBI inquiry. MPCC Working President Deborah Marak has alleged that illegal transportation of coal is rampant in Garo Hills region and an independent probe is must to unearth the involvement of many. Marak has also added that the state government should stop being indifferent to the menace and constitute a proper inquiry. It's a big story at this point in time, viewers, from the state of Meghalaya. The row over illegal transportation of coal has hit the headlines again, with the Congress demanding a CBI inquiry. Well, MPCC Working President Deborah Marak has alleged that illegal transportation of coal is rampant in Garo Hills region and an independent probe is must to unearth the involvement of many. Well, Marak also added that the state government should stop being indifferent to the menace and constitute a proper inquiry.
From the party side, I would like to urge upon the government to do the proper inquiry. Trucks are flying illegal trucks are flying every time. We know, and many trucks it's moving through Dainadubi, going to Gashuapara. It is 100% true. Now, government must give it to an independent inquiry. And there are many middlemen, those who involved in this business. Not only this Zaima enterprise or company, there are many local boys, they involve, they work hand in hand with these men, collected lots of money, doing nothing. So those who are involved along with him in this scam, I think those middlemen, so they should be investigated properly and they should be taken action. Always we talk about corruption, inquiry, but it is not happening only. That's why we don't understand. Once we do this proper inquiry, as you have asked just now, if minister is responsible, definitely after knowing, then we will ask minister to step down.
And onto the flood-related news now. Well, amid efforts to restore a connectivity through the half-long Silchar Road, a fresh incident of heavy landslide today occurred at Lampur area. Movement of vehicles were hit for a few hours. Meanwhile, executive member of North Kachar Hills Autonomous Council, Endu Hojai, took it upon himself to join the road clearing operations. Well, restoration work was carried out for a better part of the day, after which the movement of traffic on the road has been restored. Meanwhile, our colleague Swadeep Hasamsa gives us this special report from the ground. Let's listen in.
डिमा हासा में इस भूस्खलन के कारण लगातार बारिश के कारण यहाँ पे डिमा हासा में देखा गया कि बहुत सारा रास्ता जो है ब्लॉकेज हो गया था और सिलचर हाफलोंग रोड जो है बहुत एक जगह में काट ऑफ सिंकिंग जोन हो गया था। उसके साथ साथ रिसेंटली कुछ दिन पहले 2 दिन पहले ही यहाँ का जो है मोटरवेल के लिए लाइक व्हीकल के लिए रास्ता खोल दिया गया, लेकिन फिर से बारिश रुकने के बावजूद भी ये जो है लगातार बारिश ना होते हुए भी ये रास्ता जो है फिर दबते जा रहा है, सिंकिंग होता है। तो इस वक्त हम आपको पहले दिखाना चाहते हैं कि ये जो लोकेशन है जटिंगा लामपुर लोकेशन है, ये आज सुबह से ही यहाँ पर फिर से जमीन खिसक जाने की वजह से, सिंकिंग हो जाने की वजह से फिर से यहाँ का जो रास्ता जो है बंद पड़ा हुआ है। लोग बहुत ज़्यादा लोग यहाँ पे फंसा हुआ है और यहाँ का जो सिलचर और हाफलोंग का जो कनेक्टिविटी है, फिर से हम कह सकते हैं कि आज सुबह से यहाँ का जो है कोई भी गाड़ी जाना आना नहीं पड़ा। कि एक तरफ हम जटिंगा लामपुर का ठीक एक स्टेशन का सामने से दिखा रहा हूँ और यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं कि यहाँ हाफलोंग से सिलचर जाने वाले लोग, बहुत सारा यात्री लोग यहाँ पर अभी रास्ता में ही फंसा हुआ है और बहुत सारा जो सिलचर से हाफलोंग के लिए आ रहे थे वो लोग उस पार ही फंसा हुआ है। और जैसे कि देखने सकते कि सुबह कुछ लोग यहाँ पर मौजूद है कि कुछ लोग सुबह 6 बजे से फंसा। दादा आप लोग कितना बजे से फंसा हुआ है?
हम लोग का गाड़ी तो हाफलोंग स्टैंड से 6 बजे छोड़ा है, इसके बाद में इधर में आके फंसा है।
6 बजे छोड़ा।
6 बजे।
अभी रास्ता तो कितना देर तक लगेगा, क्या बोल रहे हैं?
पहले तो नीचे में ये क्रेंगा नामा था, तो माटी टानने के बाद में वो नीचे तरफ जाता था, तो इसके बाद में वो लोग कैंसिल करके अभी पहाड़ को काट के नीचे में बनाए हैं। अभी काम चलती है।
बहुत ज्यादा आदमी होगा ना?
हाँ, बहुत ज्यादा आदमी है, बहुत आदमी, मतलब उधर का हरिंगा जाओ का जो गाड़ी आया था उस पार में, वो लोग हरिंगा जाओ का गाड़ी रिजर्व करके सिलचर में गया, चला
तो
गया।
गाड़ी चेंज करके जाना।
गाड़ी चेंज करके
ये
जाना।
तो अभी सुबह से, अब सुबह 6 बजे से
हम लोग के यहाँ ही खड़ा है।
जैसे कि आपने देखा कि उन्होंने बताया कि सुबह 6 बजे से ये लोग यहाँ पे खड़ा है, और रास्ता जो रिसेंटली रास्ता खोल दिया गया था जो लाइक व्हीकल के लिए, और हम फिर से वही चीज़ दिखाना था कि अभी जो है यहाँ का जो फॉकलैंड का वो जो एक्सकेवेटर जो है लगातार इसको रिस्टोर करने के लिए कोशिश कर रहा है, लेकिन कितना देर लगेगा, कितना वक्त लगेगा, ये भी अभी बताना मुश्किल है, क्योंकि अभी भी 2 जेसीबी लगा है, और भी यहाँ पर जेसीबी वगैरह जो फोकलैंड वगैरह जो भी है यहाँ पे काम चल रहा है एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की तरफ से, या फिर नहाई की तरफ से, लेकिन इसको और कितना देर लगेगा रिस्टोर करने के लिए, ये बताना अभी मुश्किल है, क्योंकि रास्ता जो है, अगर बारिश रुकने के बावजूद भी ये जो रास्ता जो है फिर से सिंकिंग हो जाते हैं, लैंडस्लाइड हो जाते हैं, तो बहुत सारा इसमें चैलेंजेस आ रहा है, क्योंकि ये जो सिलचर हाफलों का रोड जो है फिलहाल अभी लेकिन बंद पड़ा हुआ है, और अभी रिस्टोर का जो काम है वो चल रहा है।
So that was a ground report by our colleague Swadeep Hasamsa, where efforts are on to restore connectivity through the half-long Silchar Road. A fresh incident of heavy landslide today occurred at Lampur area. Shifting focus now, well, the Tripura United Indigenous Returnees Council, which is a conglomeration of as many as 48 armed groups, which returned to mainstream following a series of memorandum of settlements since 1988, have served an ultimatum to the centre for early facilitation of their rehabilitation process. But speaking exclusively to Northeast Live, President of TUIRPC Daniel Borok and General Secretary Anand Dev Burma made it clear that they have submitted their last memorandum to the government for fulfillment of demands, and failure to respond may force the outfits to take other steps. The TUIRPC includes groups like NLFT and TTACF.
हम लोग का त्रिपुरा नेशनल वॉलंटियर TNB और 1988 में रांखल और राजीव गांधी थेरेपेटिक एग्रीमेंट किया था गवर्नमेंट के साथ और TNB के साथ और सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के साथ। अभी भी जिसका एक और क्या ना, अभी भी पेंडिंग है। ऑल इंडिया रेडियो इलीगल माइग्रेंट्स जो लैंड किया है ये टेंशन नहीं किया है, और बॉर्डर फेंसिंग देने वाली था अभी हाफ हो गया है, और इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ इन आइलैंड परमिट अभी भी नहीं किया, और रोमन स्क्रिप्ट करना था ये भी नहीं किया, और ट्राइबल फोर्स करने के लिए वादा किया है ये भी नहीं किया था। इसीलिए हम लोग एक कथा होकर त्रिपुरा यूनाइटेड इंडिजिनियस रिटर्निंग प्रोविंशियल काउंसिल का नाम दिया है। हम लोग अभी राष्ट्रपति के साथ दिया है अपॉइंटमेंट के लिए, और प्राइम मिनिस्टर के साथ ये भी दे दिया, मेमोरेंडम भी दे दिया। अभी राष्ट्रपति जी से ऑफिस की तरफ से फोन आया था, कॉल आया था, राष्ट्रपति जी कोई बाहर गया है इसलिए वो लोग अपॉइंटमेंट नहीं दे पा रहे हैं, लेकिन प्राइम मिनिस्टर का थोड़ा अभी भी दे दिया, अभी भी नहीं रिप्लाई आया है। हम लोग के पास 3-4 बार फोन आया था, थोड़ा प्रतीक्षा करो, थोड़ा प्रतीक्षा, और कितना दिन करना पड़ेगा ये मालूम नहीं है।
फर्दर स्टेप हम सोच लिया है, अगर अभी काम फुलफिल नहीं हुआ तो फिर हम रोड ब्लॉकेट करेगा, हंगर स्ट्राइक करेगा, हंगामा छोड़ तो बचेगा। और पीपल स्टेइंग इन ओपन स्काई ट्राइंग टू हार्ड द हैंड टू माउथ। हम जो जीने के लिए जितना खाना है, जितना करना है, नहीं दे रहे हैं। व्हाट टू से, मेनी कैडर्स आफ्टर सरेंडर they arrested, even 2-3 twice they have put the jail. This is not the good, this is not the justified. If they will not try to solve this foreign influx and financial and this agreement, then we are ready to fight again. This is the third chapter will start.
All right, our assistant news editor Pinaki Das joins us from Agartala to give us the latest on this story. Well, Pinaki, a conglomeration of 48 outfits demanding the implementation of the memorandum of settlements. So, what has been the cause of the delay so far?
See, there are two sides of the story. The government is saying that many of those who had surrendered the norms which are to be maintained, those were not maintained in the sense they could not get the package that was declared, and that is pending for long. While on the side of those surrenderies, they had said they have been waiting so long, even some during 2004, TNV, NLFT, HETF, these are all banned militant organizations from which many had surrendered. But there is a process is yet to be maintained in the sense that those who anyone surrender won't get that package. And moreover, there were also the cases were pending, which were heinous crimes and all. In those cases, cases cannot be withdrawn. Government that is the key condition. And this was also a pressure technique on the part of the returnees. But at the same time, many of them who were resettled, they say that the entire package which was declared, like they were supposed to get some livelihood trainings, and following the livelihood trainings, they would get some bank loan or any one-time money. Those things are pending. Even for others, they were supposed to get rubber plantation, fishery project, agriculture, horticulture base, or cattle farm, dairy farm, and such many things for regrouping them so that they can have a decent livelihood and live a life of peace in a normal life like any other person. But those things, many got, but at the same time, many were left out. And while the government on the side of the authority, they said, many the criteria which is to be fulfilled has not been fulfilled, and that is the reason many were deferred. Now, after that, many political parties have also used them, especially when the election times are coming. We find that they try to create a pressure technique on these issues again come. And as you know, the Tripura elections are also knocking at the door. Now, they are also trying this technique there so that they can get the attention of the government and their issues can be solved. But it's fact that many of them had surrendered, and there are also allegations many after had surrendered twice and thrice also. So there are on the both sides there are confusions, and that is what the government authorities are saying. Many are left out from this rehabilitation package as part of the memorandum that had taken place long back.
All right. Now, Pinaki, at a time when the BJP-led government is making an all-out effort to rehabilitate all cadres of outfits who have returned to the mainstream, so can we expect that the TUIRPC's plea will be heard very soon?
So, Tripura United Indigenous Chinese People's Council, there were fraction also among them. This is also a fact. Because this is not a single organization. There are other groups also. But at the same time, we have seen after BJP came to power, if I remember well, just in 2019 at Ambas, a major surrender of NLFT had taken place. 2018, yeah. And that those people were rehabilitated in a proper way, but these are the pending cases which had not taken place during the tenure of the BJP. And BJP says that this is our other party or left front, or even during the time of the Congress united with TUGS when they were at rule. At that time, these are the long cases, and this was not their responsibility to solve the issues. But the fact remains that these people, they have threatened, if their cases are not solved, maybe they have to think on other options, which won't be a very good message to the remaining militants or underground who are still in active, and the government is trying to convince them and bring back to the main life, which is very much necessary for the peace and development, because without peace, precondition for development is peace. And if militant activity restart in Tripura, this will be a factors which will affect the development of the state.
All right. Thank you, Pinaki, for giving us those details. With that, we take a short break. Stay tuned for more news.
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
সাধারণ স্টিল এনে কই পরে মাইথন স্টিল এনে কই পরে ধম কই
Evening Prime, the primetime news at 7. Now, in a whole new look. Only on Northeast Live. Your station, your voice. Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
कांग्रेस सरकार कुछ नहीं कर पाया.
All the best. We, the people of the Northeast, can also contest it.
पूर्वोत्तर में क्या रही आज की सुर्खियां? चुनावी राज्यों की राजनीतिक हलचल। देश विदेश की वो खबरें जिससे है अपनों का खास नाता।
Welcome back. And before moving to some other stories, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Tragedy in Ladakh, at least 7 army soldiers dead, 19 injured in accident at Turtuk sector. Activist Mark Haukip arrested for objectionable social media post brought to Imphal. Family members upset over Chief Minister N. Biren Singh's alleged questioning of Haukip's nationality. Illegal coal transportation row hits headlines again in Meghalaya. Congress demands independent probe, accuses government of being indifferent. Conglomeration of 48 Tripura outfits which returned to mainstream demand rehabilitation serve ultimatum to centre, say may be forced to take alternate step. And as a Sikkim Chief Minister, P.S. Tamang pledged to make governance more people-friendly as his SKM government completes 3 years in office, Tamang slams allegation of violence. Some more big stories at this hour, viewers. The NSCNIM has made it amply clear that it is unthinkable for the group to accept Naga national flag as a cultural flag, as purportedly hinted by the government of India. Well, this has been mentioned in the editorial of NSCNIM's latest news bulletin, Nagalim Voice. Well, this indeed is a big statement by the NSCNIM when brisk developments are being witnessed for arriving at a solution to the vexed issue as soon as possible.
Most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage. Evening Prime, the primetime news at 7. Now, in a whole new look.